Hello, sixth graders. This is math lesson 83. You will need to watch to the end of this video to get what you are to do for the assignment for this video. This is on proportions. Really, when we think about proportions, what we're talking about are fractions and equivalent fractions, to be more specific. So a proportion is a true statement that two ratios are equal. Now remember, ratios can be expressed as a fraction, and we're going to look at a ratio in a variety of ways, but ultimately we're going to end up with fractions because that's how we will be able to figure out the proportion, which is in essence an equivalent fraction. So this really is nothing new. We've been doing this for a long time. It's just a little bit of different terminology and a little different framework for the problem. So an example of this is 3/4, which is a proportion, which is a ratio, equals 6/8. We read this, that's what we're at the bottom there. We read this as 3:4 as 6:8. And if we look at this, when we talk about equivalent fractions, what are we talking about, just to kind of refresh your memory? What do I do to 4 to get to 8? I multiply it by 2. I do the same thing on top because this is like multiplying the fraction by 1. So I'm not changing the value, and that is what an equivalent fraction is. They have the same value. If we were to take 6/8 and reduce it, we would end up with 3/4. An example situation for this would be, if 3 pounds of peaches are for sale for $4, the ratio would be 3:4, or 3/4. Since the ratio is constant, and that just means it's always going to have an equivalent fraction, we can buy 6 pounds for $8, 9 pounds for $12, and so on. So all I'm doing here is I took 4 times 2, 3 times 2, right? That's a fraction that's equal to 1. Now, I can't go from this fraction to this fraction by doing that multiplication, but I can go back to this one, right? 4 times 3 would give me the 12, 3 times 3 would give me the 9, and so on. Which ratio form a proportion with 1/2. Sorry about the way these fractions are set up. I think it's easier to look at this way. So which ratio form a proportion with 1/2? What's an equivalent fraction? Take a look at those. The answer would be B, 2/4, because 2/4, those are equivalent, right? Write this proportion with digits. Okay, this is the type of problem that you'll see. So here's how we write this. 4 is to 6 as 6 is to, and we have a blank here. So I could represent this with a variable of some kind. So these would be the types of problems that you're seeing. Okay, so take a look at this. Now, before, when we've done this, we would say, well, what do I multiply 4 by to get 6? And we can't do that here. But we know that an equivalent fraction for 6 would be 2/3, right? If I reduce that, now I can deal with this. 2 times 3 equals 6. So 3 times what number? 3 times 3, excuse me, the y would equal 9. See how I did that? I took this one and worked it into this problem. Oops. Complete this. 2 is to 6 as what number, variable, is to 30? Okay, take a minute and think about that. What do you multiply 6 by to get to 30? Do the same to the top. Your answer is going to be 10. 6 times 5 equals 30. Do the same to the top. I get 10. All right, we're going to go through some examples here, and what I'd like you to do is to have a piece of scratch paper and then pause the video and solve it and see if you're right, because that's the only way you're going to know if you're understanding this or not. And remember, this distance learning in particular, well, all learning, it really is what you put into it. So you can brush through this, you can skip it, and you're not going to really be penalized too much for it, other than the fact that you will be penalized in the future when you don't understand this concept and math becomes so much harder for you. So if you take the responsibility at the time and work through this, ask questions of me if you're confused about something, that is going to benefit you in the future. And that's what this is all about. Education is all about that. It's all about what you're getting out of it. Not about what your teacher gets, not about what your parents get, but for yourself. So take this seriously, I hope, and do a little pausing with this video and figure this out. Write this proportion with numbers. 6 is to 8 as 9 is to 12. And the answer, if I can move this, would look like that. 6 is to 8 as 9 is to 12. Number 2, write and complete this proportion. 4 is to 3 as 12 is to, pause it if you need to. The answer is 4 is to 3 as 12 is to 9. We can see that those are equivalent fractions. And the last one, write and complete this proportion. 6 is to 9 as what number is to 36? Oh, come on, move that. Love it when technology does not. There we go. So the answer to that is 24. Well, hopefully, oh, now I gotta get my pen back. 6, if you had trouble understanding how I got that, 6 is to 9 as what number is to 36? Multiplied 9 by 4. I'm going to do the same to the top because that's like multiplying that fraction by 1. Okay, this is where the assignment is usually listed. This that we just did is from the practice set. I am going to just have that be your practice for today. So if you've watched this video, you understand that there is nothing that you will need to do on Edmodo today. If you don't understand this or you have questions on the concept, please get a hold of me and I can help talk you through it. All right, have a great rest of your day. No math homework. Merry Christmas.